With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Edit audio.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Hopkins, and this is Well Adjusting, where I talk to people about life stuff, but not in an NPR way. It's more like we're at the bar, having cocktails, getting into your business sort of way.
It's giving drunk NPR.
Oh, and producer Steph is here too.
Hello.
Today we chat, well, letting things go to bring you joy. Hello, friends. All right, today's episode, how do I describe it? It's like that warm, that like warm, fuzzy feeling that you get on a summer day. I knew from the second that Iona sat down in her whimsical lemon-colored shirt that she was gonna bring the sun. And let me tell you something, I was not wrong. So this conversation, it's like being along on a ride with someone who just kind of like clicked into that space of comfort and self-love and finding their very own groove. So we chat about life changes, letting things and, dare I say it, people go that are holding us back, and relaxing into loving ourselves for who we are and, all that we've been through. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to want to listen all the way to the end because Iona's the one dishing out the homework in this episode. I'm not kidding. So let's get to it.
My name's Iona Sky. I am thrilled to be here. I am a social worker, an EDIA consultant. I'm a parent. I live in Canada. I'm racialized. I live with invisible disabilities. I say a lot of those things to describe myself because with the work that I do, I try to bring visibility and change to communities who are often pushed to the corners and are marginalized and don't have a lot of visibility. And so that's a little bit about me.
Well, welcome. What's the problem you want to pick apart today?
I'd like to set the context for this, Robin, because I'm 51 years old. And
welcome to your 50s. Welcome.
Thank you. And there's something really freeing about turning 50, I have to say. And, it was really a pivotal moment for me in thinking about my life and my future and thinking about relationships and reassessing relationships with friends and family and figuring out which ones to focus on in what I say is the next half of my life moving forward. Because I think the first half of my life, I focused on, everybody else's needs. And as female identified folks, I think we are born and raised to take care of everybody else. And I'm reassessing that.
Interesting. Is there like one relationship in particular that has made this bubble up for you? Or is it more like you're in this new phase and you're just like, I want to put Iona first?
I think it's both. I think that there are two significant relationships that really has brought me to this point in that one is a relationship with a family member that was strained for a long time because of my sexual orientation. And, folks often want to hear about the disowning story. But what I like to talk about is the story of finding our way back together and of healing and compassion. As I say to my son, we don't always have to agree with the people we love, but sometimes, we can still love them. And that was a huge journey. And another relationship was letting go of a significant friendship that I thought was a significant friendship that just kind of stopped. And so learning how to be also okay with where other people are at and figuring out, where do you put that energy?
Okay, this is so interesting because I do think, like, I'm 54. It's not often you get a thumbs up for that. So thank you, Iona. But, I do think there's something about this age or like this period in life of being like, I have done X, Y, or Z for so many years and it's not serving me. But I think what I'm really curious about with you is what were you finding or what wasn't serving you in particular? I often don't do the negative, like I want folks to talk about like what they're living into, like, but I am curious as to what are the things you're letting go? Like what are the things that don't serve you that have showed up?
Oh, okay. That's
it's a heavy question. It's a lot.
That's a heavy question, but I appreciate that question, Robin, because I don't think we often talk about this. Well, I know for myself, I have been on a healing journey for the past, I would say, 30 years. I've been in counseling. I grew up in a time where there wasn't counseling. We didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about mental health. I've experienced lots of traumatic events in my life, which manifested in shame for me. Yeah. Landed in my body with shame, with self-loathing, with my body just being a vehicle to get me from here to there. I did a lot of counseling for my brain. And I would say in the past, it was pre-COVID to now, I've done a lot of healing on my body. In my somatic healing, I found the most amazing therapist who's been life-changing for me because she helped me move the healing from here to my body. And so what am I releasing? I'm releasing shame and guilt of things that weren't mine because those are things that are hard for survivors. It's in me saying this to you, Robin, this is probably the first time I've said this out loud. And so thank you for this gift for me to be able to share that because I've embodied shame since I've been 6 years old.
Yeah.
So what else am I holding? Releasing? I'm releasing my need for other people's joy. Recognizing that I'm responsible for my joy. My son is now 19 years old. We've raised him. He's a full functioning adult. And it's also come to that realization that I am still his parent and I can now take time to prioritize what do I need? Yeah. So a simple thing, Robin, of even with the letting go of shame is starting to walk, starting to go outside of my house and walk. In the past year, I've lost about 40 pounds.
Ooh, congratulations. No easy feat.
No, and that's from walking. I say it's from a lot of therapy and a lot of walking my trauma away.
With prices going up on just about everything lately, dealing with money can be stressful. If you listen to Well Adjusting, you know life is full of surprises, like moving to a new apartment or trying to set better boundaries. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Their dashboard lays out your total financial picture in a way that's easy to digest, and you can even create custom budgets based on your past spending. Rocket Money's 5 million members have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, with members saving up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/budget today. That's rocketmoney.com/budget. rocketmoney.com/budget.
Are you scared or anxious about the state of bodily autonomy? Do you want to get involved in the fight? I'm Jenny Wetter, and I host the podcast Repros Fight Back. Each episode, I interview a guest about a specific topic across a wide range of issues, from abortion access to birth control to LGBTQ rights to abortion to gender-based violence to Project 2025. And did I mention abortion? We talk about what is happening around that topic and how you can get involved and fight back. If that sounds like your jam, make sure to check out Repro's Fight Back on your favorite podcast platform.
I've got 20 minutes till Run Club meets, and it's time for a quick pre-workout snack. Go Squeeze Active Fruit Blend to the rescue. Made with select B vitamins to help release energy, it's an easy, squeezable pouch made to move with me. The taste? So good. And made with real fruit. Even better. Whether I'm hitting the trail or meeting my friends on the court, this is my go-to on-the-go snack. Quick, easy, ready when I am. When it's go time, I go with Go Squeeze Active. Snag yours on your next store run. Search for Go Squeeze on Amazon.
It's so interesting because I'm in the middle of, I don't know, I'm either menopausal or perimenopause. I don't know. It's like you never know if I'm in it or out of it. It's like the weirdest thing. But anyway,
Yes.
but my point is like I keep thinking about, and I feel like it's a lot of like what you're circling and what you're talking about. There's something about major life milestones that make you go, I only have so much time on this planet and I want to be joyful. So I'm trying to think about it for a way of like someone else is listening and they want to get some of what you got, right? Because it's like, I want to wear that really cute bright yellow shirt and like walk around with joy and be like, yes, Iona, you sound lovely. Like I want some of that. So like how would you say you are, like obviously a lot of therapy, but like how are you reframing? Because it's like we are a certain way, like you said, I'm 51. You've been a certain way since birth. And then how do you just all of a sudden be like, I'm shifting?
That's a really good question, Robin, because if I were to talk to Iona, who was 20 years old, I would say, like, who are the voices in your head? Because what I reflect back now is that I was very mean in my self-talk to myself because those were not my voice. That was not my voice. That was what everybody else has told me. And so when I think about what would I say to the people who are listening is, who's occupying your brain? Who are you allowing to rent my brain now? Is it a kind voice? Am I talking to myself like I would talk to my best friend? Because I didn't before.
Yeah.
And also some really practical things that I would say that I reflect now that, I think back, like I deal with depression and anxiety. And when I think back now, sometimes I think I should have just opened the windows, just opened the curtains, just for that, even that little fresh
If only it were that simple when you're depressed, right?
Exactly.
It's like that is the hardest thing to do.
Exactly. I know. And that's why it is those hardest things to do that can also perhaps give somebody a glimmer of hope when that hope is just not there.
I feel like what you're talking about is almost like the act of forgiveness, whether it's self or other people. Because you mentioned about, a formative family relationship as well and trying to come out of it. And I remember the first time there was this organization I worked with, at the time they were called Youth at Risk. And they always talked about like, you may have to forgive your parent 100 times, 1,000 times, but you do it for you because you're the one that's holding it. You're the one who's, letting it impact your life. But I feel like, a lot of this is easier said than done, which is why I wanted to talk a little bit about like that formative relationship. And you don't have to say who it is. It's like, that's irrelevant, honestly. But to say, holding those two things at the same time, that a person could be a person who hurt you, and that you have to be maybe the bigger person doing some of the forgiving and the teacher and the helper and helping them come back to you. And is that something that you all have to do on a regular basis? Or have you been able to get through it to where you have peace with it?
My parent, let's just be real. My parent and I are at peace with it. And we have a great relationship now because we've been able to walk through it.
Yeah.
And there has required forgiveness and compassion and understanding. And this is where people's beliefs, where there's a clash with people's beliefs and their spirituality and their relationships. And for me, it was, after 7 years of not having a relationship,
Yeah.
it made me reflect on what did I want for my future? And also, what did I want to role model for my son? And at the end of
yes.
the day, you know what? At the end of the day, Robin, and especially working in social work for over 20 years, as human beings, our brains we like to compartmentalize between good and bad, between black and white. And
Yeah.
I say in my life and in my work, I like to live in all shades of the rainbow, not necessarily in black and white, because there are very few issues that are that binary.
Yeah.
And that's what I also try to teach my son is that, I love my parents in my core. And through those 7 years, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I knew after 7 years, I was also more confident in my own identity after with dealing through my own internalized homophobia, racism, all
the
sorts.
internalized shame is real.
Yeah, all of that stuff, right? And I'm like, you know what? They're on their own journey. And,
Yeah.
I don't own it anymore. And at the end of the day, their shame is not my shame.
Right.
We are all imperfect human beings, Robin.
Well, I'm not Iona, but yes, I understand what you're saying.
Like I say, like we all make mistakes, and also we're all learning and growing. And, like I would like to find somebody who has a perfect relationship with somebody.
Right.
Because I'm not sure that exists.
No.
Right?
I think, like, at least for me, the heartache in, like, a parent relationship, like, I didn't talk to my dad for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years or something. And then I started talking to him again, and whatever. I've sort of, like, gone through this journey where I'm like, oh, okay, like, I'm going to have you in my life, like, sort of on these terms and, like, defining what those terms are and how that works for me and blah, blah, blah. I think the heartache for me is that, like, I have to accept that he will only and is only capable of loving like a eighth of me, And I think I put that in all my other relationships. Like, I think I've accepted that. I'm trying not to now, but I've accepted that in friendships and in work things and whatever, that I can sort of be like 1/8 of a person, and like someone will like fall in love with me, or someone will be my best friend, or someone will, hire me to do something, but I'm not showing up fully. And so I guess I just wanted to know if that sat with you, and if those relationships are bleeding into your current relationships. Because, we're talking a lot about these like formative relationships and how we've sort of healed or moved through them. But how are they showing up today? Like, how are they influencing your relationships today?
I really resonate with that stuff because, yeah, I mean, until like one of my parents passed, that part was still not reconciled, right? And so that parent got a certain part of my life and my family, right? And I think what a loss. And I have a better relationship with them on the other side.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? So much
better
easier.
Relationship on the other side. And it is something that I had to navigate. And also, I had to think about how am I going to show up so that I can take care of myself, as I can only give a half or a eighth or a whatever. Because at the end of the day, for me, my relationship with my parents, that one half, less than a half probably, if I'm really honest, because my whole life is about queer advocacy and all of those kinds of things. So maybe a quarter, because having a quarter of a relationship was better than no relationship. And also through time, through forgiveness, through their own journeys, now the relationship with my parent who's still alive, it's full. It's fulsome. And it's a joy for my partner and my son as well, because they weren't a part of it before. And so what is it like bleeding into other relationships? It was tough because there were times, I had to explain to my son, why is it that I'm only going? This is before they were open to meeting him. And so having those discussions with a 5-year-old, it's hard.
I have a question. It's for both of you, which is like, okay, and I'm sorry I have to get into it this way, but I just do. I had this acting teacher who used to say, like, oh my God, this worst transition ever, but please stay with me. Who used to say, whatever your level of talent is, if you have the level to be a 7, I will bring you up to a 7. Because we can recognize that everyone is not Meryl Streep, right? Yeah. So I wonder if some people have capacity issues. And it's not that they can't love you wholly and completely. They are loving you wholly and completely as they are able to. And I wonder, and the question is for both of you, does that reframe, A, feel right to you, and B, how does it sit? Because it is in some ways, I think, maybe putting some back on us as opposed to them, which is the part that I think I don't love. It's like the high road version. But I do think some people are stunted. And that's the best they're going to do in this lifetime. What do you guys think?
Steph, you go first.
I think, yes, that is how I look at it. Like, I don't believe that, well, if I'm being honest, I don't fully think that, like, my dad loves me, but I think that stems from my own, like, feelings of, like, what love is. Like, I don't want to define that as love. That's not that he doesn't love me. I think he loves me in the way that he is capable of loving me.
That's right. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt you, though.
No, and I think that's the dealing with it part is, like, in almost every other relationship in the world, I would not accept that into my life. Or I'm learning to not accept that in my life. And that for me is the hard part. It's like, well, I've been accepting that people can only love me up to this amount from, like, the core person in my life. So how do I not carry that into, like, friendships and romantic relationships? Because that, like, what we accept of our parents should not be what we accept of, like, the other people. Or, like, I don't want to do that, like, so that for me is, like, the icky part. But it is just fucking annoying. Like, I made my dad go to therapy with me, which, like, I love that he did. I'm, like, super happy that he did. And I cannot believe it. And everyone I tell is like, holy shit, your dad went to therapy, because he, like, truly does not believe in anything. And I'm glad he did. But what came of it was, like, a shocking reality to me that, like it was just so blatant that he was never going to get to the place that I had hoped that he could. And
but
so that's
good. That's heartbreaking, but then you're in reality.
Yes, but it sucks. It's just annoying. That's the annoying part. I'm glad it did it, because I'm glad that, like, now I know that, and it doesn't have to do with me. It's not my shit to hold that he is, like, his talent barometer or acceptance barometer is only fucking 12% of my 250%. But that is what it is, but it still sucks.
Well, I want to hear what Iona thinks about this too, because I do think this is like the crux of what we're talking about with you and deciding to go out and accept more for yourself. So I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah. So I would say that how I've come to see it is, I agree with you, Steph, in that it's probably the best that your dad can do. Is that, like, I'm going to swear. That's fucking hard. That's fucking hard to be on the receiving end of that. Because, it's that saying, right? Our parents are our first loves, right? They're the ones who we have our first connection with. And, with my journey with my parents, I think about it, and I do believe that they did the best that they could with the capacity that they have, in that I don't also know my parents' full journey. I don't know what has happened in their life. I know that they've had some pretty, tough things happen to them. And after 20 years in child protection, I can tell you that parents try to do the best that they can.
Yeah.
There are very few parents who intentionally go out and hurt their children.
Yeah.
And so I think that's also helped me see things in a different light. And that's why, I had to balance how much can I bring to this relationship? And also, does this relationship make my heart sore? When I am at the end of my life,
It's like
will I
Marie
look
Kondo,
back?
but for relationships. Does
Yeah.
this bring me?
No.
Does this person bring me joy?
Does this person bring me joy? Going back
Yes.
to what you said, Robin, about the pandemic. I'm pretty introverted at the best of times, but it really also showed me, who do I also allow into my sphere? Because, like, just to be very honest, I mean, we're all queer on this call, as queer folks, as racialized folks. I've experienced lots of violence in this world. And so my home, it's really my safe space. So thinking about who am I going to allow in my space to bring me, are they bringing me joy or are they bringing me stress? Because also what I've learned is that because I've experienced so much trauma in my life, I have high levels of cortisol and high blood pressure, all of that stuff. And I'm changing that, right? I'm figuring fuck, man, I go and walk 6 kilometers a day to try and get rid of this. Why would I continue to expose myself to people who are not good for my body, who make my blood pressure go up? And so I'm like, screw that, man.
Well, that was going to be you perfectly segued into my next question, which was you had talked at the beginning about this parent relationship and then also a friendship that has ended. Is that related? Can you talk about that a bit more? Did this friendship end because you saw it and were like, this is not serving me? Did it end for separate things?
Oh, it just stopped. This person just stopped communicating after being really close friends for I don't know, 10 years. I'm the kind of person where I'm like, have I offended you? Have I done something? Let's talk about it. If there's a problem, I'm a work in progress. Let's and so then it caused me a lot of pain, It made me remember, I think, because that doesn't happen to me. And I think it resonated because it made me remember being disowned, I think.
Yeah.
And so so that was kind of the correlation. And so in the end, after 2 years of trying to connect, I'm like, you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
I let you go with peace and I wish you well. So yeah, it was a confluence of both things that were kind of separate, but kind of related because it brought up the same things in me.
Yeah. Steph and I often give people homework at the end of the show. But what's really interesting is in this conversation is you're talking about your journey of how you are getting to a place of bringing more joy in or not accepting people who don't bring joy into your life. And I'm thinking if we were to dial out and just talk a little bit about, for anyone who's listening, because I keep getting this age image of us being in our 50s and Steph, who's not in her 50s. And how do we help Steph?
Okay, that's so funny because I literally wrote down homework, not give homework, but I think you should give me homework.
That's what I'm doing. That's where we're going. Steph and I share. We share at least 25% of our
we
brain.
have one brain cell and it's shared among both of us.
But so I, with Steph being younger and anyone who's not I don't want people to have to wait until they're either hit the 50s or they're in menopause or COVID happens for them to just say, these people don't serve me. So I'm curious what, how would you take some of the work that you've done and say to Steph or to younger me or to anyone who's listening and say, how do you make the decision or make the steps? Because we were talking about depression, we know we should open the curtains, but it's hard to do. So what would you say to people to help them, say enough?
Yeah. So first thing I would say is think about how do you spend your day? And who do you surround yourself with? And this is what I'm really learning is how do you feel in your body when you spend your time with them? because the
Oh, that's
body
good.
never lies. Because now I'm recognizing my body tells me when I'm with people who lift my soul and spirits and people who leave me stressed out. That's the first thing I would say. And to really think about also, because this is what I'm really realizing that I wish I had spent 20 years doing in my younger years, is thinking about what do you really want as opposed to what do you not want. Like, what do you really want with, Robin, you said this, right? Earlier on in the podcast. Like, because now when I am imagining, what do I really want my friendships to look like? What do
Yes.
I want my, relationship to continue to look like? What do I want my relationship with my son, who I say is my man child? What do I want that to develop into? Because that's a transition also.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think also I spent so much time worrying about what everybody else wanted or thought about that, I wish I'd spent a little more time thinking about what do I want to imagine for my future.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say, this, because this is the thing that helps guide me as well, is I always think, when I am close to the end of my life and I reflect back on that job, that relationship, that friendship, will I smile? Will it bring me joy? Or will I go, oh, that was a waste of time?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we meet a lot of people in our life, and it's okay to say, hey, lovely to meet you, and make your way off.
Yeah. It's like when we're moving so fast and we're not like just 100 miles an hour, we're not thinking or feeling into our body. We make decisions that are not often good for ourselves. Like we stay too long. We let people in that we shouldn't. We don't listen to our instincts. But Lord have mercy, is if that is not the hardest thing to do, to listen to ourselves.
Yeah. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I was trying so hard to prove myself, to accomplish this and that and all of this stuff. I got I was able to do lots of things in work and all of this kind of stuff. But as I reflect back now, I think to myself, man, I wish I had more fun.
Right. Right.
I wish I played more. That's why I play a lot now. I try to play a lot now. And when your body is still in better shape to do it.
Right? Youth is wasted on the young.
I think I'm good at having fun. I'm not so great at the other parts,
Yeah.
but I'm good at having fun.
Good.
I want to say thank you for, first of all, just like opening up and letting us be a part of your journey, because in you telling it, that allows me to slow down for the day. That allows Steph to slow down for the day and be like, geez, have I had any joy this week? It's Tuesday, and I probably should have had a little joy by now. So I really thank you for coming on and sharing your journey, because it's like, it has not been easy, but I mean, you are such I love a beacon of hope. Like, I love knowing that you're out there in this lovely yellow shirt, and that's an image that I can hold in my heart and go, I could do a little better today. And so I'm just so thankful that you came on.
Thank you for having me, Robin. Thank you, Steph, for having me. It's been my privilege and honor to spend this time with you.
We got to bring you back at 60. We got to bring you back at 60 and see what doors have unlocked then, because I can't even imagine. Done.
Deal. Done. All right.
So, first of all, I feel lighter and sunnier just having talked to Iona. How about you?
Yeah, I feel good.
You don't get off easily on this one, because this time is the homework is for you.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about relationship visioning and working out. Who brings you joy, producer Steph?
Well, I think this brings up a lot for me, because I think, and this as like my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I've had like a very interesting year where there have been like a few relationships of mine that have changed significantly.
Yeah.
like 2 best friends. I have a partner now, and also like things with my dad. So like I think
Every one of those shakes things up. Every one of those situations.
oh my God, yeah. And I think that this conversation really like just reaffirmed that I need to keep going in this direction and keep like trying to prioritize myself. I even feel guilty saying that because it does feel like a little like selfish or something.
Yeah.
But it's not coming from a selfish place. It's coming from a like, I really was like, I literally am picturing like a leech on me, like a river leech, like sucking the life out of me. And I don't want to be allowing that to happen anymore.
Well, I assume that people know that we record the intro and the outro separately from the interview, but not everybody I think is aware of production inside stuff. But so it's been a minute since we did the recording, and one of the things you were going to walk away with is like, think about these relationships and think about the changes you made. So like, did you, and where are you now? Like, have you made changes? Like, did Iona and her sunny, bright yellow shirt and lovely personality make you think about it differently and make some changes?
I think what it made me think about is like, I mean, first of all, you and Iona are both older than me.
Whoa, shots fired.
And so I think it made me feel good that both of you have had tricky relationships with parent figures, whether that be your own or Mary's, in different ways, but that you've both sort of like come away from it being like, well, I had to do this for myself. And I feel good about it. Like there's like a resolve in both of you that I don't have.
Yeah.
And
especially because there's been like one friendship that you and I have talked about that you have been like struggling to.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, did it make you feel more like this is what's best for me? And that's okay. Because it's like, I think you knew it's best for you, but did it help you think that's okay?
I think it's okay. I think I don't have hope that I'll feel resolve.
What would resolve look like for you?
I guess that I can like die happy.
This is like you with the retirement. This is your retirement.
No, but that really is it. Like, I'm scared.
Die happy because you wouldn't have like, oh, I made a mistake. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets. And that I did everything I could. And I think at this point, I feel like I've done everything I could. I don't know if I've gotten to the point of like, well, I will have no regrets. And I think what's nice is I've seen you and Iona be like, you have just like a sense of like calm.
Yeah.
And that comes from like a confidence in yourself, I think, or your decisions or your prioritization of yourself.
I do think that with age, like I joke around, but like I do very much believe in age as related to life station, like what you're up to. And I do think there are certain buckets that are... they're very common for certain ages. You know, like in your 20s, you are this. In your 30s, like I believe in that shit.
Yeah.
And I do think as you get older, there is a letting go that happens. I don't know if I'll ever not be like, oh, is there not maybe one more thing I could have done? But I do think the voice that's like, you aren't taking care of yourself in this relationship becomes louder. And I think that quiets the other voice that makes you feel bad.
Yeah. I think then that's maybe what I need to lean into more is just like really trusting that I know what's best for me.
You do.
And I think there's like something really cool about, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like sometimes our relationships are just on like autopilot. And maybe it's good to like actually like take a second, step back and be like, what am I getting from these relationships that's like making me better or happier or whatever? And what am I getting from them that's like really hard or, you know, and I don't think that's like healthy to do every week, but like every like quarter of your life or something.
Or
like why not?
Every couple of years, just checking in because it's just like, it's much like raising kids. They go into new phases and you're all the time around them and you don't notice they're in a new phase until they do something that you're like, oh, you have this? Okay, great.
Yeah.
And I think that is true of friendships sometimes of like, it's just the way things are and it might get worse, and you don't notice because it still has a tinge of all the good things that were there. But if you start to look at the scales, like, is it more bad than it is good now?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not for just like throwing shit away. Like, that's very difficult for me. But it is
definitely not me neither.
I do think it's an important thing to think about. Like, is this taking away more joy than it's bringing in?
Yeah. And I think that's what I got from this conversation. It's just like Iona is like so comfortable in that and like has been through it a bunch of times and like also is just like such a light.
Let's just like all go out and find our joy. Like, let's let go of the crud that's dragging us down. No prob. We'll have it done by 5.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, we're kidding, but we can try.
No, yeah.
Right? All right, folks, enough of us. Go out and enjoy your day. But do not leave us without thanking Iona for bringing her perspective and her journey to the Well-Adjusting fam. More yellow shirts for all. For more Robin, and you may need that, you probably don't need it, but like if you do, you can follow me at Real Rob Hops on all the platforms, all the socials, as the kids today say. Well-Adjusting is an Edit Audio original series. It's exec produced by Steph Colburn and Robin Hopkins. Our producer and editor is Maria Passingham, and our production manager is Kathleen Speckert. Thank you to the entire Edit Audio team and to you for listening. Oh, hey, before you take out those AirPods, this show is just for entertainment. If you are in need of help, please, please, please reach out to a professional. Go ahead and get that help. You deserve it.